We are here one more Sunday night talking fantasy baseball on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about, all coming up next. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Scott Jenstad, joined as always on Sunday nights by Jeff Erickson. We are sponsored by Chalkboard. We appreciate the sponsorship from them during this season. Jeff, last weekend of FAAB, last week of the season coming up. You got one more weekend of actual baseball, but last time you and I are doing this on a Sunday night. How is everything with you?
It's good. It's good. As long as we don't talk about my favorite football teams, we're good. Favorite baseball team is kind of fun right now. Playoff races are good. And this is the thing, like a month ago, I was despairing that we'd have maybe one decent race among anything. And instead we've got a lot of things to pay attention to. And I can't ask for more than that.
All three divisions in the American League are up for grabs. I know Seattle by sweeping Houston kind of made that so it's tough and then up 3, but unbelievably, the Guardians are one behind the Tigers. Like that was 99.9% actually in the odds for Detroit to win that division. 1 game lead. Detroit has now lost 6 in a row after losing today. The Guardians did lose today. They had won 10 in a row before that, so there's still one back. And the Yankees are making a run at the Jays. The Jays aren't playing badly. They won 6 of their last 10. The Yankees are hot. Won 7 in the last 10. 2 behind New York, and then with a wild card in the ALs, it is pretty good too. I mean the Astros are right there for like not making the playoffs at all. So is Boston. Like one of those teams, Boston, Cleveland, or Houston. Like if they don't win their division, not gonna make the playoffs at all. It's wild. This last week, there's a lot up in the air. Yeah,
there is, and I love it. I it's exactly what you should have for your last week of the regular season. Have these games matter, and it just shows like, hey, we kind of like blow off some like losing streaks here and there in season. They all matter. They all add up.
Yep.
And let's just break this out now. Let's talk about it. I've tried to miss my Reds chances.
I think Jeff might have frozen. That's not the way to. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
You froze there for a second.
No, you froze. I don't know.
You froze. I don't know. I was moving on the screen. Who knows?
Yeah. I tried to declare my Reds dead for about 17 different times on Twitter. I got roundly chastised by my podcast co-host, Fred Zinke, and deservedly so, as it turns out. I despaired in person with you when we watched the Reds desultory losing to the Dodgers as they got swept for the first time all season. But they go home and, they catch the Cubs at exactly the right time, immediately after they clinch their playoff spot, far enough that they can't catch the Brewers, really. They're pretty much locked into the 4 or the 5. So, hey, great. Caught them a little down. And meanwhile, the Mets keep on Metsing. And it's fun. Just meaningful September baseball is just the best.
The craziest thing is you look at the NL East and the Marlins have won 6 in a row and the Braves have won 8 in a row. Like their games, they're not even playing for anything. And they're like red hot right now. It's kind of wild. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Reds, obviously for you here. It's a lot of fun. I've got some friends who are Mets fans too. It's tough right now. The Mets are really cratering. Arizona only 1 back. I mean, we've got 2 wildcard setups here where there's going to be a team that's not going to make it, and we're not going to know till next weekend.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it's that way in the AL too. And we thought that there was pretty much like, okay, maybe one team could squeak in, but we're in a spot here where possibly both the Tigers and the Astros could miss the playoffs, which is just stunning to me. Just absolutely stunning to me. Let's talk Tigers first, because the epic meltdown that they had, double-digit lead like a month ago in the division. 99.999% chance, playoff chances there. Their pitching's fallen apart, and quietly their offense has too.
It really has, and I mean, it's wild. You mentioned 99.9%, said that earlier. It's just, I don't know. Cleveland's red hot. The wild thing is Cleveland's run differential is -9. You look at all these teams like the Red Sox are +105. The Yankees are +144. Texas is +82. Hell, Tampa Bay is +49. And you got Cleveland in there at -9. But they got hot at the right time. Detroit's cold at the wrong time. Who do you think pulls us out? Who's going to win this division? Cleveland plays. They obviously play each other this week, so it's going to be really fun. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Cleveland. Then Cleveland has Texas over the weekend. Detroit goes at Boston. Like that could be. Detroit goes at Cleveland at Boston this week. What a great week of baseball.
Yeah, what a terrible schedule for them. It's just a rough break for them. But I mean, you want to talk about the most pressing team I've seen in a long time. it's them. They are just, and it's tough to see because it was such a great story this year. Yeah. It just, all along, like, oh yeah, I was wrong. Okay. What they did over the last 2 months last year. Okay. It's legit. Now they're getting it done to them. And it's crazy to see that there. Jack Flaherty is all over the map with his outings, and they just can't. They really have 2.5 starting pitchers right now, and that's the thing that's really frustrating to see. They missed on some of their swing big opportunities, and the dirty little secret is there weren't too many big swing opportunities for pitching at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So we can criticize them or any of these other teams for that all you want. The Dodgers clearly didn't do much at the deadline either. There wasn't much to be done.
After the resurgence of 2025 Trevor Rogers, I might be done criticizing teams for picking up pitching at the deadline because holy hell does that work out a year later. But and this week's really tough for fantasy too, and Detroit's a really good example of that. Tarek Skubal's pitching Tuesday. He might pitch Sunday. He might not pitch Sunday. That's going to decide leagues in fantasy leagues if he pitches that day. If he pitches that day and you get another 10, 12 strikeouts, that's huge. If they don't need him, he's not going to pitch on Sunday. This week in fantasy, you got to catch some breaks in terms of the real baseball teams needing to actually play games next weekend.
Yeah, exactly. It really shows. But some like you said, there's some teams that are itching to be spoilers. The Braves are playing good ball because you know what? They've got some pitching again. They've got Chris Sale going. They've got Strider pitching well now. That matters a big amount there. Even though they've been missing a lot of their other key pitchers, they had a couple others come back, and they don't play Ozuna that much anymore. It's interesting to see that they don't have Riley, and yet the other players have stepped up. It's interesting. And I you know what? It's just like our fantasy leagues. We want to, when you're protecting the lead, you kind of don't want everybody to play hard and take all your free agents. But for the integrity of the league, you need to see it there.
Yeah, I certainly felt that this weekend. The last week's always weird because anybody with any kind of money is like, I'm just going to spend it this week, as they should. But you get some random bids out there. It's hard to sneak the $1 and $2. It's weirdly harder to sneak $1 and $2 players this weekend than it is like the past 2 weekends when everybody's like, oh, I have some money, I might as well just buy somebody. So it's always hard to sneak those in. But it should be a really fun. Last weekend. The AL East Yankees get the White Sox and Baltimore at home this week. It lines up really well for the Yankees to make a run. Toronto is against Boston, and then Tampa Bay. Definitely the tougher schedule for Toronto this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You saw some teams some teams that were frisky that we talked about, others not so frisky. Like the Twins won today, but man, they've been mailing it in for 2 months now. And granted, they have no bullpen whatsoever to turn to there. They traded all those parts there. Baltimore was actually troublesome for a while for people. The White Sox have been a problem for some teams for a while. So, there's some that try a little harder than others.
You mentioned Minnesota. I don't think I enjoyed anything more this weekend than clicking the drop button on Bailey Ober today.
Oh, it was satisfying.
It was lovely therapy right there. It was so nice to click that and not have my team for a week is a lovely thing.
Is he a never again guy for you?
Man, probably. I hate to always say never again. I was never a huge Ober guy anyway. I just kind of ended up with him this year. I always thought he was fine, but it's going to be really tough for me to go back. I'm probably a year. I need a year to kind of recover. And with that strikeout drop, I think there's enough there that I'm willing to stay away just based on the numbers, not based on what he did to me this year, but based on the numbers. I mean, when you drop off that far, swinging strike rate drops off that far as well. Homers are way up. His barrel rate was over 10% this year. I think there's enough there numbers wise to make me just not go back this next year.
Yeah, unless we see like some clear velocity changes in the positive there, like, oh yeah, we fixed this in the off season. Why can't you fix it in season? It's just annoying, but maybe just 6 months of rest or whatever.
Or my shoulder was barking all year long sort of thing, maybe. But
then who's to trust it won't be barking again?
1,000%. So I'm just, oh, Jeff, you're going with puns in the chat. My gosh. It must be.
Hey, we were talking over. It's topical.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So do you think Houston's actually going to lose this, right? I mean, Seattle's up 3 games right now. Seattle gets home Colorado this week to start the week. Talk about a beautiful schedule, and then home against the Dodgers. So tough over the weekend, but Dodgers might not be playing for anything. The Dodgers have what's their lead on San Diego enough that they could clinch a 3-game lead of San Diego. So they play well first half of the league. They might not need those games. They're probably playing for a bye. They're 4 behind Philly, so maybe not. So Seattle might catch a break there. Houston has at the A's in Sacramento, and that's good matchup. But the A's hit there, and then they're at the Angels. So it lines up pretty well for Houston too. But Seattle getting Colorado in the front half of the week is big.
That's a Reds fan. I will not say anything negative about the Athletics and their abilities.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so going to Sacramento could be tough, but Seattle winning this last one tonight was the big one. If they went into this week with a 1-game lead, it's kind of wide open. Up 3 with Colorado on the schedule this week. Seattle is so much in the driver's seat now. They're a fun team though.
Yeah, they got the tie break on Seattle. I mean, they have starting pitching. They're hitting better than they have before in the past, and that's the thing. They put together multiple winning streaks. They had one epic losing streak down this stretch too, though. Shows that even they are vulnerable. I think they're a perfect microcosm of the American League this year. There is not one dominant team. There are lots of pretty good teams and pretty good stories, but they all have little flaws here and there.
It's really wide open, and you can't even count out Cleveland despite the run differential and all that because, they're just so hot right now, and they're pitching really well. Slade Ciccone is on a crazy run right now. Speaking of Seattle, who is the MVP, Raleigh or Judge?
It's got to be Cal Raleigh, doesn't it?
He
didn't get hurt. Judge did.
You say that, but Judge
what are the betting odds now?
Judge is like minus $1 million. He's a huge favorite.
Okay.
And it's weird because I would think Raleigh too, 57, 119. But you look at closer, Judge is 80 points higher in average, 90 points higher in OBP, 90 points higher in slugging, and his WRC plus is 200, which is 30 points higher than anybody in the league. He's 27 higher than Shohei, is the only guy that's remotely close to him.
Stop using facts.
I know. I want it to be Raleigh. I like Judge, and
my narrative street when I get to there.
Do you think that the catching a whole season helps Raleigh out in terms of getting some votes here and Judge DH for 2 months?
I think it's an argument, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's at least part of it there. I mean, does it make up the statistical gap? Probably not. I don't know.
It's funny though, because if you look at all those stats I just read you, Judge is way ahead. I know the counting stats, Raleigh has more, but when you look at WAR, it's really close because Judge is 9.2, Raleigh's 8.7 because Raleigh gets a bunch of boosts up there from defense. A really good defensive catcher, and Judge's defensive WAR is actually minus on FanGraphs so far.
So here's the tricky part though. People might cite the closeness in the WAR and then say, and he's playing catcher. No, that's factored in the WAR calculation.
Yes, correct. So that is so that brings them a lot closer though. Where you look at just the offensive stats, Judge is definitely a way higher offensive WAR. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if the Judges won it before factors in kind of like the NBA when Karl Malone won when Michael Jordan.
Fatigue.
Yeah, voter fatigue. Raleigh's. This is his year. This is his season. He won the home run derby. He's been in the news all year. Everybody loves him. It's gonna be a really fascinating vote. I think Judge probably wins, but I don't think it's as quite as easy as the on DraftKings he was minus 450 or something earlier this week when I looked.
I think if we had the
I think it's going to be a little closer than maybe the odds think it's going to be.
I think if we had the voters from 15, 20 years ago, Raleigh wins. I think because the current electorate is more conversant in advanced stats. I think Judge wins.
I think that's about right. I agree with you. I think 15 years ago, I think Raleigh wins as well. So. Let's talk about some players here. I want to talk about Corbin Carroll. Had a big day today. First 30-30 guy in Diamondbacks history. He's now at 31-30, 105 runs. Kind of quietly, he's hitting 258, so not a great number there, but not terrible. The speed has been really recently, though. 15 of his stolen bases, so half his steals have come in the last 6 weeks of the season. He clearly has ramped up the stolen base thing. He's running more. What do you feel about Carroll coming into next year? I feel like he's one of those guys that's tough. I mean, he's always the stats are there. He's not quite in that top tier elite guy with Judge and Witt and a couple of the guys in there. But where do you think Corbin winds up? Are we talking back half of the first round, middle of the first round? Where do you think he ends up next year?
I mean, he was middle of the first round by the end of draft season this current year. I think he stays.
Kind of just sticks right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the year's been really good and just kind of quiet. I mean, he was disappointing early, and for the second year in a row, I think he kind of just came on strong in the second half. His hard hit rate is what I love. It's up 10%, and his barrel rate doubled. So the power looks to be growing into his power line. I know the home runs have not really jumped up too much. He does have 31, which is a career high. He was 22 last year, 25. But it looks like the power is definitely real right now.
It is, and it was before. He's just at a higher peak. Yeah, it's at an age where this should be expected. So yeah, I draft him middle of the first round next year is what I do with him. And keep in mind, Arizona improbably is in this wild card race,
and right in it. They're a game back.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is on the back of Carroll and what he's done too. They traded away Gino, they traded away Naylor, they traded away their bullpen, they cut half their rotation, or they lost Corbin Burns. They don't have a bullpen. They've made up people that are getting saves now. There's like 5 different guys in the last 30 days that picked up saves.
Yep.
It's stunning, and yet here they are. Kettle Marte has been all over the map, but he's hitting now, and so it's kind of crazy that he's had. I don't know how closely you followed his saga, but the whole stuff getting robbed at the All-Star break, getting criticized for the team for being away, and there's some other stuff going on there, and the whole the emotional stuff about the heckling with his mom, with his family, and all that. I mean, it's been a weird year for him, but he's on fire right now too.
Yeah, it has. And they have a tough schedule. They play the Dodgers 3 and then at San Diego, who's probably going to need to win those games.
Yep.
So that's they definitely line up the toughest. What we need, Jeff, for our Reds is we need Milwaukee to clinch the 1 seed earlier this week, because we want the Reds play them over the weekend. If they don't have to play, that'd be big for the Reds.
Yeah, that's right. That would be great for our Reds for sure.
Yep.
And I'm glad you're back to being on board.
Oh yeah, I'm fully bandwagoning this. Now they won 5 in a row, and you've stopped giving up on that. I'm back in.
All right, very good there. Look at the Brewers' projection starters this week. They're clearly kind of trying to get everybody kind of lined up there too. So they got some unusual, like Chad, Patrick, Michael Johnson. He's back in the rotation this week. They got another guy that I don't know much about at all that's starting for them one of the games. So they're you
mean 30-year-old Bruce Zimmerman?
Yeah, it is Zimmerman who I was referring to. Yes.
Yeah.
And Robert Gasser's back too.
Yeah.
They're getting him some starts. They are so comfortable with where they're at right now. They're like, hey, it's important for us to get him a couple of starts. It's less important for us to try to win these games.
I mean, they have a 3-game lead for the 1 seed, so they'd really have to blow it. And Philly's probably going to sit some guys too. So I think that maybe they change it up for the weekend if they fall back a little bit, they get swept or something. But they're in a pretty good line for the 1 seed. I mean, I guess they could shoot for 100 wins. I'm not sure they really care about that. But as long as they get the 1 seed, I think they just want to line up, make sure they get Freddie lined up and ready to go. It's tough though, because you play and then you sit for what is it, like a week? You play like the next Saturday or Sunday. It's always a weird setup when you got to play and then sit for weeks. Teams sometimes handle that pretty differently.
Yeah, and they've got some drama for their playoff rotation though, Scott. I mean, their Woodruff injury is bad for them. That it's a moderate lat strain, not a mild one. So there's some question that even with like a bye, will he be ready? And do you want to bring him right off of an idle period right in the middle of a divisional series? That's I don't know. That's kind of tough. So you got Peralta who's rolling.
Yep.
I guess Priester is in the rotation. Do you trust the Miz as your 3rd starter? Who's your 4th starter?
I think you have to. It's weird for a team that has 95 wins, the 1 seed, that we don't know who the heck they throw after their 1 starter.
I know.
I mean, it is Priester. He will pitch second, but I don't think I'm fired up about throwing that in the second game. And then you're right. The Miz is a huge X factor for them. If he pitches really well and looks good, that's a difference maker for sure.
Yeah, and I don't want a Quintana. He's got his calf anyhow, so.
I don't want to throw him in a playoff game is what I'd call that. I don't want no part of that. It's they're an interesting team because on paper they don't blow you away when you look at it, but they just win games.
Exactly right. So, but very fascinating to see what they're going to do.
How crazy? I had this comment on Twitter, and some other people had some other examples of stuff that's been crazy. But how crazy are Trent Grisham's 33 home runs this season? He had 39 home runs the last 3 seasons combined. That's a lot of games, too. It was like 380 games. Not like he one of those was a half season, the other 2 were full seasons. Hit under 200 in all 3 of those years. He was truly bad. He's at 237 right now, but 33 home runs. He's got his barrel rates up to 14.5%. His strikeouts are down 5%. The walks are up. His OBP is 347, so he's been really good. It's not just a Yankee Stadium thing. I know that obviously helps for a left-handed hitter, but you look at his splits, and he's got more home runs on the road. He's got 21 home runs away and only 12 at Yankee Stadium. I heard a lot of comments that it was a Yankee Stadium thing. It's really not. No. He's been bad at Yankee Stadium. He's hitting 197 at Yankee Stadium with 12 home runs. On the road, 274 with 21 home runs. He's been better on the road. What the heck do you do with someone like this next year after he's been so bad for 3 years, so good this year? A lot depends on where he signs. I do get that. But how do you feel about Trent Grisham going into 2026?
Confused is how I feel.
Yeah. I don't know how you can't be.
Yeah. You want to say, okay, maybe it was a Petco Park thing, but like you said, he was bad everywhere for a while there. And now he's way better. It's not that you're right. The home road splits are definitely in favor of the road splits this year. It's kind of crazy. He's only come close to these sort of heights once, and that was the 2020 season, the COVID year. And he played 59 out of 60 games, by the way. Just getting that many games is an accomplishment in and of itself. He gets that time because of his defense. His defense is good. That's what kept him on major league rosters, for crying out loud, for a while. That, and he was used to he was a Mets killer. I remember him hitting that big home run in the playoffs against the Mets. But man, I don't know what to do with him. Here's the thing, though. He doesn't run anymore. Still 3 stolen bases this year. And despite being, getting copious more playing time than the previous year, he used to run. In San Diego, he had 15 stolen bases just 2 years ago. But that seems like that's gone from his game. I'm going to need to discount him heavily, I think, in my projection. And, like you said, a lot of it depends on where he lands, but I wouldn't give him more than 15 to 20 homers. If I can get him at that price, then I might click on him. But I feel a little queasy about this one.
I think it's going to be a prime test of how we mentioned before last week. We were talking about everybody's a lot smarter than they used to be in this fantasy baseball world. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, he'd be someone we all were grabbing next year off the big year. But I think that there's going to be a lot of wariness about him. But I think that the hard contact stuff, it backs up the home runs. The drop in strikeout rate is really important. He's always someone that had issues with strikeouts. And he had a really bad BABIP last year, which maybe hurt. But it's only 256 this year, so it's a weird one. It depends to me where he signs. But if he's fully discounted, I'm probably taking a shot if nobody else wants to.
I'm going to wait for smarter people to do the research for me and tell me.
There you go. Speaking of kind of sneaky seasons, I think that Mike Trout hit his 400th home run this weekend, an absolute bomb, 485 in Coors. I think it was the second longest of his 400 home runs. It might have been. It was right in there as one of the few longest. But when I saw that, I'm like, I wonder. I'm gonna look over at Trout. I have Trout in a couple leagues. He's kind of one of those guys I just kind of put in the lineup. I don't like to admit it, but I just kind of throw him in there. He's quietly hitting 229 right now with a 32% strikeout rate, and he has 7 RBI since August 15th. He's quietly been really bad and really bad lately too.
That chase to get his 400th homer took forever.
It did.
He was at 396 2 months ago. It's almost as long as Ellie in his homer drought, but which also thankfully got broken.
It did.
It's been painful to watch because I love Trout. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? I love, the fan that caught the ball gave it back to him, and all he asked for was some swag. I think maybe he got some tickets, maybe definitely some signed stuff, and the right to play and just
I was going to say
catch with Trout.
I was going to hope you saw the play catch part. That was awesome. Yeah, that was cool.
And Trout, of course, went with it, and took some pictures with him and his family. That was awesome. How awesome is that? It
was great. Yeah, that's a lifelong memory right there. But you can't really throw out. You have to throw out 2024. He played 29 games, but man, hitting 229 with that strikeout rate, and the strikeout rate's been elevated for the his last couple full years. He doesn't have full years, but 2022 he had 119 games. Strikeout was up to 28%. So it's been elevating over the last few years, but 32% is tough to combat. He's a 312 BABIP too, so the BABIP's been fine. But 229, he still walks a ton. If you're in an OBP league, that obviously helps. His OBP is 360. He's fine there, but. The batting average, I don't know. I don't know if this is coming back. He's got to fix the strikeout rate for it to come back. The power is obviously still huge and real, not quite to peak days, but still really good. But 22 home runs in 124 games. He doesn't run anymore. It's going to be tough to put him in a fantasy spot next year.
Yeah. I feel like he's a little bit of Griffey's tenure with the Reds and beyond, where the injuries just changed who he was as a player. And I feel like that's the case with Trout a little bit. And it's early 30s, same sort of thing. It's not just this year, Scott. It's last year too. In the brief sample, he was hitting 220 last year. Obviously, only played 29 games. Unfortunately, he's just not that guy anymore. And I want him to. He tried to be that guy last year and got hurt doing it. Got 6 stolen bases earlier. We might have, an earlier vintage Trout, and no, we don't. And unfortunately, we just don't. And
I think there's a lot of thoughts out there, if we can just get him to 130 games, it'll be there and he'll be really good. It was all the injury, but it's injury plus its performance. Where does he go next year? Are we talking outside of the top 10 rounds? I think it's probably got to be, right?
I think it probably. Again, more digging in is required to see some of the other data, but with Trout, I think there will always be someone
That's a fair point. There's always gonna be someone in like round 9 or 10 is like I can see the the kind of the late peak season coming up big, but it's it's hard unless he fixes the strikeout rate. The batting average is not coming back to old days, at least for sure.
And it usually doesn't. He was around pick 100 this year, so yeah, I could see a 50 pick discount. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it'll be Trout right around that area. Okay. We'll go right around that 9-10 area there.
Do you want to take a shot in him there?
No, probably not.
I don't think I do either. I think when it was the point where I thought the performance was still there, as long as he stayed healthy, I was good with it, and we could kind of risk some health. But I think when you get multiple risks, the health risk is still obviously going to be there. I think it's going to be tough for me to jump before someone else does.
My opinion changes if he gets traded to a contender.
Ooh, that's spicy. You think they're not going to move him, right? I don't know what they're doing. Who knows what they're doing?
Who the heck knows what the
Angels
are doing?
A fair point.
I will say that he doesn't want to go, or in previous years he hasn't wanted to go. Maybe that stance changes. Maybe
how can he not want to go somewhere? I mean, you think he'd want to just get a taste of some contention, right?
Yeah, he's probably living a good life.
I'm sure he's living a fantastic life.
Orange County is a great place to live.
Yeah, being rich in Orange County is not a bad thing. There's no doubt. Yeah. Hanging out in Newport Beach when you're really wealthy is a really good way to live. But I still would think there's something in there that wants to be in a pennant race.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think if he gets to that point, then who knows? I don't want to disperse it. I don't want to say it as in he's been dogging it or anything like that. That's not my point. I just think, there's a different edge when your team is winning and playing games that matter.
Someone asked the chat about the Angels still playing Rendon. Yeah, Rendon's contract goes through next year, so they still got one more year of Rendon.
Yes.
I think you could fact check me here, but I think Trout's never won a playoff game, correct? Only they got swept in the one series he was in.
By the Angels, yeah. I mean, swept by the Royals. Excuse me.
Can you imagine? He's never won a playoff game. That's wild.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's like smacks of like Ernie Banks never getting a chance because he was with the Cubs, when 4 teams made the playoffs or 2 made the playoffs in some case, if you go back to olden times there.
If only they just could have put one more generational player on this team.
Maybe in it. I mean, that's the thing that's crazy is overlap with Pujols and Shohei.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But none of those guys pitched. Well, Shohei pitched. That's bad. Yeah. I totally lied.
Shohei was top 5 in Cy Young's there.
Yeah. That's
good question in the chat from our friend Kelly Ugansi. Does Trout get to 500 home runs?
No. I'm afraid not.
He's 34. He's got 400 right now. I think he just gets there.
I hope he does.
Yeah,
Again, I hope I'm wrong.
I think he finishes at like 506 or something like that. I think he just gets there.
Still a surefire Hall of Famer, right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, too many MVPs and elite years. But I mean, there was talk after 5 years, best player ever kind of stuff, and that's gone now, unfortunately. But I think he'll get to 500, but I think it'll be a battle to get there.
I agree.
It's when we get into draft season, it's always interesting, the guys that kind of have hot finishes. And I'm curious your thoughts on Matt Olson right now. He has been on fire lately after kind of a blah like first 4 months, but 338 with 9 homers since August 15th. He's now hitting 279, actually a really good batting average, especially for a power hitter. 28 home runs, 94 runs, 93 steals. I guess he had a run today, so 95 runs. I'll correct that. The power looks really good. Hard hit rates back to 2023 levels. The home run for fly balls kind of hurt him this year. That's why the home runs aren't there. But his home runs are weird. You get 34 in Atlanta, 34 in 2022, 54, then 29, then 28. The longer we go along here in his Braves career, it looks like 2023 is clearly an outlier. But how do you think Matt Olson? Where do you think about him for 2026?
I think you look at Olson. He's still like the 5th. You look at like earned auction values. He's the 5th first baseman. He's actually earned more than Vladdy has, according to RotoWire's earned auction value tool. In part because, Vladdy has only 23 homers and only 81 RBI. I think that's the thing that's kind of crazy. The fact that Olson's recovered his batting average to 279, that I did not know. Yeah. I guess maybe I don't have him in a lot of places. Production counts the same no matter where you earn it, unless you're playing a head-to-head and in a playoff system and you're done and you didn't make the playoffs. Then that might be different. But if you're in a roto league, these September pylon stats matter just as much. And maybe even, perhaps even more if you traded for him and got the better part of his season.
Yeah, I was surprised by the batting average too. His BABIP is pretty high. It's 340, so he's got maybe a little bit lucky there, but still, kind of ending his way into a pretty darn good year. He's probably going to end up with about 30 home runs, 100 RBI, somewhere in there if he has a decent last week here. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Like at the end of the year, do you open up? When you're researching in February, do you open up? You're like, oh, Olsen had a good year, or you're like, he was bad and then got hot lately. How do you kind of treat guys who get hot in the last 2 months? You treat it any differently than anybody else?
An established veteran, I'm less likely to do so.
Makes sense.
I think if someone collapses down the last 2 months, and let's just call him Nelson Cruz, then I'm going to have to pay attention to that. Sorry, Nelly. I know it's sorry, but there were.
You mean Nelson Cruz, hero to all?
Hero to all.
Yeah.
But even he had an expiration date in terms of his career. He defied the odds forever.
I would say it was about 5 years later than we thought it was going to be, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it still came. So that is something maybe I'll pay a little bit closer attention to. Obviously, a younger player, you got to be careful about that because sometimes, if it's a rookie year 2, they get a better scouting report. They try different things against that batter to try to get him out. So you got to be careful about that too. But I do think it's the players on the margin that I pay closer attention to over the sample blocks. I think over a veteran, you just kind of look at his total year stats and maybe even look at the 3-year weighted average. There's a reason why that's the baseline for projections in the first place and not 3-month weighted average.
Nelly Cruz, age 39 season, 120 games, 311, 41, 108. How beautiful is that? Amazing. It's so great. Yeah. Some of the chat mentioned Matt Olson maybe like pick 30 to 40. I think that's probably a little high for where he actually goes. I think he's probably it might be a little bit high. I think probably he's a 3-4 turn guy. So maybe a few picks high, but I think he's probably end of third round if I had to guess. Probably
right. Let me ask you this though. So who are you drafting first though? Nick Kurtz or Olson? It's got.
That's a really good one. God, how is it not Kurtz right now? But
it's Kurtz because he plays in Sacramento, but Olson because he has his teammates back theoretically next year, and therefore his counting stats are better.
So when you look at Nick Kurtz, you're doing your projection stuff in the offseason. How much is that 31% strikeout rate going to weigh on you?
It's going to be a factor. He's overcome it. He's hitting 291 despite that.
It's a huge number, though. He's got 370 BABIP, but Sacramento, I mean, he's going to match there. 33 home runs, 110 games. But every time I look at him and you ask me questions like that, I look at that 31% strikeout rate, and I do cringe just a teeny bit.
Yeah. How about Vincenzo Pasquantino, as brought up by Jordan Earhart here?
Well, I'm not even going to really say much about the Italian accent over there, but
please
it's been a legit great breakout year. And I mean, the strikeout rate's up a little bit, but it's in a great range. It's 15%. I think that he probably, needed to tell out a little bit more and strike out a little bit more to get the power up. The barrel rate's up. Hard hit rate's kind of in a good spot at 45%, but 31, 107. Someone said they're going to wait on Pasquantino. I don't know how much you can be able to wait.
I think he's saying he'll wait. He'll pass on Olson and Kurtz and wait to get Vinny is what how I implied, read that.
So if Olson's like a third, fourth round, or late third round guy, is Vinny like a mid fifth round guy somewhere in there?
Perhaps. I mean, he showed real growth this year, but the Royals did not. Vinny's got 31 homers and 107 RBI because he hits behind Witt, and that's great.
Yeah.
But he has 68 runs. It's just think that's hard to have that big of a gap between homers and RBI, I think. And that's just
unless you're like, you see it runs in RBI a different way for leadoff hitters, but as a guy in the middle lineup, that is tough. It shows a lot about the guys besides Sal Perez, the guys hitting behind him. It's been rough there.
And that he's not a mobile human, one stolen base on the year.
Last thing I want to ask you about before we jump into some FAAB talk here for the final week. What the heck are you doing with Trevor Rogers in your projections? I was shocked when I looked at him. He's only 27. I would have guessed like 30 or 31. I'm just kind of surprised he's only 27. This has been the most ridiculous season. It's Grisham and Josh Naylor's stolen base. Grisham total runs, Josh Naylor's stolen base on the hitting side, and it's Trevor Rogers on the pitching side. 106 innings, 135.87. Pitched well again this weekend. The strikeout rate's up 4%, or the swinging strike rate's up 4% for last year. Striking rate's up 7%. What the heck do you do with someone like this next year? Because I have no idea.
He did go to Driveline. He is throwing as hard as he did a couple of years ago, but not as hard as he did pre-injury. it's interesting. He went undrafted in the way too early meatball draft that goes a 15-teamer with 11 rounds. Our friend Rob DiPietro runs that.
So that's 165 players.
Went undrafted. Yeah. I think he's worthy of being at least in the top 165. So that means I might be getting him.
But that draft also, what happened like 3-4 weeks ago, and people, he was maybe an extra 3 or 4 starts matters there too, because I think probably
others have dropped by the wayside already there too.
True.
There's already been other pitcher injuries, and go figure. Pitchers get hurt. That's what they do.
I mean, this season looks really legit. He's got like an 18% K- walk, but then, man, every time you look at that, you look at last year, but maybe he was not healthy last year. The whip was 1.6. He was terrible last year. It's probably one of the harder projection valuations we'll have in the offseason.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Maybe, and this is where I have to be careful. Sometimes, Scott, what I have a problem doing is I'll take a stance. I'll say, I believe in this guy. And then I stop the research. I got to, it's always a continuing question. There's an allegory towards science and where science stops and starts and all that. But hey, keep digging is really what I'm saying here. So
when do you start 2026 baseball in your world?
Haven't we already?
We're just talking about it, but I'll shut it down for months after this.
I can't do that, unfortunately.
You're not allowed to. Your employer will not let you do that. But
how
much do you like until you really dig into it?
I'd say after the playoffs.
Okay, so you're in November. You're digging into baseball. So.
I would like, ideally, I'm digging in October.
Okay.
It's not ideally. I have to because of projections. But
when does RotoWire put out projections?
Well, first wave will do something at some point in. I don't know. I'm trying to think here for a second there. Sorry, I got distracted.
While you're doing that, good note that RotoWire obviously has baseball all year round. YouTube 15 is the code for 15% off any RotoWire subscription. So there you go.
Yeah. Sorry. I clicked the wrong button, so I apologize.
Did you click on the Bengals chat room again?
No. Yeah, definitely.
T. Higgins still has no catches.
He had one catch.
He had one catch. I know. Yeah. Ryan Bruford, our friend from Baseball IQ, said if baseball forecaster boxes start next week. That's crazy. That's awesome. I love the baseball forecaster, but starting in the last week of September, that's a bit more than I can do.
Yeah, I will. I'll probably do it in October during the playoffs a little bit. We do a data poll like the day after the regular season ends, so I can have my spreadsheet to start working with. Serious work on that doesn't start right away, but I'm going to enjoy the playoffs for a couple of weeks. But the problem is I'm starting a hockey draft. I've got my basketball draft. I've got, obviously my football leagues and my football work. So I need to breathe for a couple of weeks at least. But the problem is I have a draft at First Pitch Arizona, the XFL league. And so I have to decide keepers for that. We make grades and all that. And there's an auction at First Pitch Arizona. So I got to have an idea at least. And my competitors are.
Yeah, no doubt. Your competitors definitely will be. I'm a little different. I don't work in it, so I can take some time off. I'll do basketball.
It's a real job too. It's kicking your butt. So
kicking my butt at the moment. But yeah, I saw a note today that said the basketball season starts in 29 days or something crazy like that. Like it's just there's no rest there. I'll be doing a basketball draft or two. So yeah, I'm probably take some time off. I want to get into a little bit earlier than I did this year. This year obviously was sidetracked by a lot of life stuff, but couldn't really do much in January, February. But I'm looking forward to getting a little bit earlier than I do normally. I think that. I'm trying to avoid the March cramming because I think that sometimes I get a little lost in some stuff when I do some March cramming.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about this week and FAAB real quick before we finish up here. But first, note from our sponsors at Chalkboard. Cash in on your MLB picks this season, the rest of the season with Chalkboard. Simply choose more or less of your favorite player stats to win up to 5,000 times your money. For a limited time only, new players get $20 free with no deposit required. Yes, you heard that right. $20 free just on sign up. See why over 1 million fans have already locked in with Chalkboard to turn their sports knowledge into cold hard cash. Whether you're locking in the perfect slip with alternate lines, using the cash out feature to take your money and run, or hammering the daily promos, today is your chance to win up to $40,000 on a single entry. Stop sitting on the sidelines and get into the game with Chalkboard Fantasy Sports, now available in 30-plus states. Download Chalkboard today and use promo code ROTOMLB, that's ROTOMLB, to get $20 free with no deposit required. So, Jeff, we don't need to talk too much about this week in terms of the schedule. Every team plays 6 games. There's no 7 gamers. A couple of good setups. The Yankees are home all week. The A's are home all week. So good hitting environments there. The Braves have a really good week too. Obviously, we mentioned they're hot. They're playing really well right now. They're 6 home, 3 Washington, 3 Pittsburgh too. That's a really good setup for Braves hitters.
It is. And by the way, I wanted to get mad about the no 7 games thing. And why is nobody playing tomorrow? Then I realized, they have to have a designated makeup day.
Yeah,
because the playoffs start like right away.
They do.
And so this Monday is basically, and I know the Braves, for instance, I think that is a makeup game if I'm not mistaken. That they have to have that there. So hey, good. I get it there. And it also allows every team to kind of reset the rotation just a little bit there.
I like that every team gets one off day this last week rolling into any team in the biggest is a possibility they could be in the wild card. I think everybody getting 6 this week is good, but it definitely evens it out. There's not a lot of 2-start pitchers, kind of the big key. Like if you need wins or strikeouts, the last couple of weeks is probably the week to do those. Yeah. And as we mentioned before, like 2-start pitchers, there might be a few of them, and you'll get some guys that need to pitch a second week. Like Brandon Pfaadt has to pitch against the Padres on Sunday if they need that game. That's going to be huge for people that have him, if he pitches well, of course. But there's so many guys that are going to pitch Monday or Tuesday and not pitch Saturday or Sunday. Be interested to see, like Chris Sale pitches Monday. Like, does he pitch Sunday? He's clearly expressed an interest in finishing off the season well, so maybe he pitches Sunday. But those little things are huge in leagues. Someone like Kyle Bradish, like he's going to pitch next Sunday against the Yankees. He's been really good. Mm-hmm. If you have Bradish, they're on a 6-man rotation. He's going to pitch maybe on Sunday. Do you think he's going to throw a whole game? What do you do with someone like that? It's so hard to figure out whether to use him or not. He's been so good, but that could be a no outing. That could be a no inning outing. That could be a 3-inning outing, or maybe he throws 7. There's no way to know some of those.
Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned Pfaadt, by the way, too, because he threw.
That game was absurd. I can't believe throw one hit.
Third game.
Yeah. A 1-hit shutout. Yeah.
9 shutout innings for a guy, even after that, has a 5.02 ERA and a 134 whip. 13 wins, though. It's so funny. Ironically, no run support in a year where he's gotten crazy run support.
One of the most absurd out of nowhere one hitters of all time. His hits allowed in his games before that were 9-6, 8-8, 5-8, 11, 5-11. Like so many hits, and he throws a 1-hit shutout against the Giants. Crazy. And against a team that's actually playing for something too.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like there was like a canary in the coal mine. Like, hey, he's been pitching well last 30 days, 540, 135. It's just that one start.
There's just so many. Gavin Williams pitches Tuesday. Like if Cleveland needs that game on Sunday, he's going to throw on Sunday. If not, he's not pitching next Sunday. It's just I think you have to throw those guys, but so much of it comes down to if you get lucky on those Sunday outings.
Exactly.
Yeah. A couple quick news and notes before we jump into FAAB. Note Will Smith, Dodgers catcher Will Smith, diagnosed with a hairline fracture. He's been out for a while. It's called a sore hand for a while, and they finally diagnosed with a hairline fracture. He's out for the regular season. Maybe out for the start of the playoffs. So assuming they get a bye, if they can sneak into that, they're actually not going to get a bye. They're 4 games behind Philly. So they're going to have to play that first weekend or that first week, 3 games at home. It's going to be tough whether Will Smith plays in that series.
Yeah. All of a sudden the Dodgers, that's like a key component of their lineup, defensively. I mean, it's Ben Rortvedt has actually been pretty good defensively behind the plate. A lot of the starting pitcher's best outings that come with him behind the plate. So they could be going with him and Dalton Rushing, 2 left-handed hitting catchers there. One of the things it does, though, is often those guys will get pinch hit for. And it's kind of like with Will Smith, that was never a consideration, right? You're just, okay, that's a key spot in our lineup. We don't have to worry about mixing and matching. And now it's just like one other thing, like, oh, now we have a dead spot in our lineup that we may have to consider pinch hitting for. And then you have to figure out, okay, pick that right spot because later on, you're stuck with that guy, and so it's really interesting to see the machinations there.
You realize if the Reds play well this week, they could be playing 3 games in your home city of LA next week. Because they would be the 6th seed if they were to pull it off. And Dodgers.
Can I interest you in going to a playoff game?
Very likely to be 3 seed. I might be able to swing it. Yeah, playoff tickets are insane in LA.
They are. I know.
Like last year, I really wanted to go to Yankees Dodgers World Series game. I'm just going to spend the money to do it. It was just so absurd. I couldn't even justify it then. I was just like, it was ridiculous. Reds first round, you probably could squeeze out pretty well there, right? You could probably find something.
Yeah, I might not wear my Votto jersey this time, though. Didn't bring us much luck anyways. Might just try to blend in a little bit more.
Avoids assault in the parking lot, which is always a good thing, too.
Yes.
Brian Wu was the big news over the week. He left the game. I think it was Friday, pitching well, and then he had his day-to-day with pectoral inflammation. About as good as a news as the Mariners can get. I think everybody's worried when he walked off the mound after 5 minutes. He went out for warm-ups in the 6th, walked off. We're like thinking, oh, something's really wrong. Jeff, if you have Brian Wu in the league, are you pitching him this week?
They're
home against Colorado if you're winning the matchup.
Oh man! Oh,
but if
home
he gets
against anybody is great with him.
If he gets pushed, he would face the Dodgers. But a Dodgers team that who knows what they're playing for over the weekend. But
how bonkers is it that we have Seattle and the Dodgers in the last series, and it's because we have the forced interleague play because of 15 and 15. I get it there, but
could be a really fun series though.
But the whole week, Seattle is playing National League teams. It just doesn't seem right. But yeah, Brian Wu against the Pace Eaters at home. That seems great. I was
going to say, are you? I mean, obviously, a lot of there are only 3 games tomorrow. So besides, there's 24 teams. I'm doing the math right. You can wait for it till Tuesday. Then you got to wait for a lot of info. And a lot of these guys, rotations are going to solidify a little bit too. If the Mariners come out Tuesday and say, yeah, Wu's pitching Thursday, I think you just got to throw it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, check your league rules here. Because not everybody plays NFBC, but
True.
It means platform especially. Yeah. Some places it locks. Period.
Oh yeah, blocking early sucks. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. But
there are a lot of platforms.
This is the world we live in. So
yes, it is.
Just be aware of that.
Another note in that Mariners series that Jeremy Pena was scratched today with a sore left oblique. That was not what I like to see. I had to adjust some FAAB bids at the end there because I might need a shortstop this week. I don't feel great about this one coming in last week. They need him. He's one of their better hitters, if not their best hitter, and they need the games this week. But I'm a little worried that Pena, and if he plays the first couple games, maybe he sits later if they get eliminated. But they'll be in the wild card though. But I'm worried about this one.
Luckily, the Astros are going to tell us everything we need to know about this.
Oh, of course, yeah. We'll see Jeremy Pena in 2027 with his oblique, and they go to Sacramento the first 3 games too. Like, it's brutal if he misses those.
Yeah.
I think for me, he's going to be, if he's playing Tuesday, obviously I'm playing. If he's not, I think you just got to sit it, and I'm not going to believe any day-to-day crap from them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 100%. And here's the thing. There's very few teams that play on Monday, but what if your shortstop is one of them? Like your pivot at shortstop is one of them there. I'm trying to think of who that might possibly be. Mason Wynn's hurt. Whoever, you don't have Adames, and you're not debating Adames versus Pena most likely. CJ Abrams.
It could be coming off the IL Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
Brewers middle infielder of some.
It could be a guy that Thomas Sagasi, who you maybe want to play him somewhere around there.
It's a middle. Yeah,
it's a middle. Yeah, it's just there's lots of stuff. And the funny thing is, it's Washington plays tomorrow, and CJ Abrams he was out today with a jammed shoulder, so that's a big question mark too. When he plays tomorrow, it's gonna be a tough call as well. Can
we just talk about the Nats real quick? This weekend, sure, I was trying to watch this just real quick, and then I'll go.
Yeah, no.
First of all, did you see the defensive plays today against the Mets? The home run robberies?
I did see. I saw the home run robberies, yes.
Bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Unfortunately, Dylan Lyle got hurt.
I know. He hit that thing hard. He sounded like the x-rays were negative on Lyle. He's been playing really well, by the way. He said something about his mom made him drink a lot of milk so his bones are strong. I thought that was pretty funny. But I hope he plays this week because he's had a really good September.
Yeah. It's agonizing watching the Nats. They won on Saturday, and it was so painful watching this one. They asked just the pitcher usage was crazy. Some of the plays were just crazy. But
is that the game Jose Ferrer blew and then they won it later?
Yeah, because they brought him in the 8th. They asked him to pitch 2 innings, and he threw a career high in pitches. And it was like, somehow he got through that 9th inning with only allowing the tying run, and then they scored a couple later on. Abrams had a terrible base running mistake, but then it got wiped out by Lyle's inside the park home run. It was just crazy.
That's right. Inside the park home run. James Wood, first half strikeout rate 27.5%, second half 40%.
Oh,
slugging first half 534, second half 335.
This is one of those. He's also going to be a hard call next year. And
WRC plus first half 149, second half 78.
Narrative Street wants to say, well, he is dragged down as with the team hold performance, but that's just lazy. I don't know what happened here with them, and that's definitely going to require this is like looking at the charts, where he's getting out, how he's getting out, what pitches are getting to him. That's the sort of research I need to dig into a little bit more in the offseason, right? For me, it really wasn't actionable. I mean, if I had him, the one league I had him is playing him, but
really, I mean, looking back, you're like, oh, I should have benched him, but almost impossible to do it in season. But 40% strikeout rate, and that second half now is a good stretch of games. That's a lot of time. That's 56 games. That's 240 more plate appearances. 40% strikeout rates. It's like Joey Gallo kind of stuff right there.
Dude, you and I were debating whether he should go in the second round. We were also debating him versus PCA, and that didn't age well.
The answer was clearly neither.
Yeah.
A couple real quick to note, a couple pitchers. Brandon Woodruff, you mentioned earlier, going the IL. Chris Bassett on the IL. Pablo Lopez on the IL. And Zach Geloff, obviously not a pitcher, but second baseman on the IL. Nolan Jones. If you have any of those guys, obviously out for the year, done. Tyler McGill, expected to need Tommy John, so he's probably out for next year. That one really sucks too there. But not much other actionable injury stuff. It was Wu and Will Smith and Jeremy Pena were the kind of ones I wanted to hit. But I want to ask you about hitter FAAB. Obviously we only got a week left. You're just looking for someone who's playing, maybe going to get hot for a week. I thought there were three interesting guys coming off the IL that were pretty fascinating. Isaac Paredes, 21% owned in the main event. Xander Bogaerts, 16% rostered in the main event. And Nolan Schanuel, 58% rostered in the main event. I thought that if they were available in your league, like these are guys that are going to play. Should play every day. Should play the last week here. You have a preference between these three guys? I thought all of them were pretty interesting in terms of like a last week snag sort of thing.
Yeah, when I saw that Paredes was coming back, I kind of caught off guard by that because I just assumed he wouldn't be coming back this year.
Me too.
He's the one that interests me the most of those three, but also have the least amount of confidence that he's healthy and fully functioning. Yeah. I know how desperate the Astros are right now to get any sort of offense right now, and I think this is kind of in reaction to that, and perhaps a little bit maybe accelerating him. They lose Alvarez again, and he ain't coming back this year.
No, it's just a lost season.
The final kick in the butt as far as that goes. Bogaerts, the thing is, he doesn't strike me as the category goodness sort of guy. Plus they're playing they're playing in San Diego, obviously for
all week
against the Brewers. So they're home for both series.
Yep.
Against Arizona and the other one there. So I don't think the ballpark helps him at all.
He had 20 steals before he got hurt, but I just wonder with a foot injury, like it's gonna be. I can't imagine stolen bases are on the ledger for him going in a team that's going to the playoffs too.
It is. So I guess also some of it just mean it's just about where I can slot a guy to where I need help, need some help. I guess like say if you got Pena, you should be going after Bogaerts pretty hard and heavy.
That's what I did in my main event. I went. That's who I went with just because I had about 400 middles listed out, but I had Bogaerts. I just figure he's going to play until they clinch the playoffs. Maybe then he sits, but I think he's going to play at least the first half of the week, and then maybe Pena's back. But I grabbed him there. Did you like any other guys in hitting FAAB? Bryce Eldridge was for the Giants. He only had one hit, but like you look at some of the hard hit stuff, he had six hard hit balls this week. He's obviously a big prospect, and the Giants have no reason not to play him every day down the stretch.
100%. That was why I was targeting him. The hard hit data, like you allude to, I say 6 out of 14, I think, and I remember like his debut against the Astros, he got like robbed out in left center. It's just someone made a really good play against me. Like, oh, okay. Well, and I like that they brought him up for a specific reason to try to improve their offense a little bit. I think he's going to get these at bats this week. And granted, it's at home. I don't love that. I prefer it to be on the road with your Giants. You always want that. But yeah, he was my priority. I got him in a couple of places.
Nice. Yeah. I thought my favorite stat when I was looking at some stats today was he had 100% hard hit rate coming in today. That's pretty good right there. And he didn't have a hit, which is a pretty wild stat. But yeah, I liked him a lot too. How'd you feel about Moises Ballesteros in Chicago? Getting a lot of playing time for the Cubs right now. Catcher eligible. If you needed a catcher, you wanted to replace somebody, he was clearly the go-to if you needed someone for the final week here.
If you're a Will Smith manager, there's your target.
Well said. Yeah, I was an Edgar Cuero not getting many hits manager, so I made the swap as well.
Yeah, that'll also work.
Yeah.
We actually picked up Lennon Sosa. In the main
right.
event. And do you know he has more homers than Nick Castellanos and more RBI than Nick Castellanos this year? They both were available, and I was comparing them. Like, Lennon Sosa has been the better player this year. Interesting.
I would have lost a bet if you had asked me how many home runs Lennon Sosa had. I would have thought I'm going to guess high. I'm going to say 15. He has 21. I did not know he had 21 home runs. I'll admit that.
Yeah. 21, 17, only 2 steals. He's nothing special, and in real life, 291 OBP, but first, second, third eligibility also is nice.
Yep. Especially that second weekend when who knows who plays. Anybody you have with like 2-3 eligible is huge down the stretch.
Absolutely.
I actually kind of like Hernandez on the A's coming into this all home week. I think he's someone that's going to be playing every day. Zach Geloff got hurt, opened up an infield spot. I think Brett Harris will play a little bit, but I think Hernandez will play almost every day. He's been really been pretty unlucky. 248 BABIP, doesn't strike out at all. I think he's a guy who could slide into a nice batting average week. So I liked Hernandez with 6 at home as well.
Yeah, I like that call.
Christian Moore and Anaheim has had some pop. I think batting average is going to be an issue there, but 7 home runs in 46 games. He's playing every day as well. He's one of those guys that the Angels have no reason not to play him. He's hitting 5th, 6th in the lineup right now. Hit 3 homers over the last 8 games. If you're looking for someone that can just kind of roll into a hot streak that's playing every day, I think Christian Moore, if you need a second baseman, is a good call too.
Agreed. And hey, the pedigree's there, first round pick. Just another guy that the Angels advanced way too quickly.
Yeah, my other guys that I was looking at was kind of the lefty specialist. There were 4 guys. Dominic Canzone off the huge 3 home run game. We were at the Dodgers game. He had 3 home runs that day. Will Benson gets 5 righties this week. James Outman gets 5 righties, and Matt Wallner went on the IL this week. Jake Bauers gets 5 righties. I think it's one of those weeks that you're playing half weeks in the FPC, you're playing full weeks in other leagues. I think that you get somebody who gets 5 righties and can play 5 of those 6 games. Those are guys that I think if you need spots, they work for me too. Yeah,
I like all those. Again, any port in a storm. You just like we stream starting pitchers, we stream hitters too.
Yeah. Did you have anybody you like for stolen bases? I had one guy that I kind of liked for stolen bases.
Tell me.
Nate Eaton in Boston. He's playing a bunch. He had 4 stolen bases this week. I think that he had 3. He had 1 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I don't think he had 1 today, but he had 3 over the weekend. I think when you get somebody that's running successfully, and I think that he's playing a little bit. If you needed 2 or 3 steals this week, I thought that Nate Eaton was the play.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, not bad at all.
What about starters? I thought starters were a little. There's some interesting ones there. I think Trey Yesevich was probably the one that people liked in terms of guys who are not owned at all because he made his debut last week. I think he pitched today, right? He pitched 4 innings today. So he had actually a 2-start week that nobody got because they were
right.
We couldn't pick him up yet, at least in the NFBC. But he's scheduled to make 1 more start against Tampa Bay at home. I thought that Yesevich was an interesting guy. If you need strikeouts, he has big strikeout rates in the minors, like over 40%.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is the Jays initially were talking about maybe making, or at least maybe Jays media was talking about this, maybe not the Jays themselves, making him a high leverage reliever. Him being their K-Rod, guy that no one's seen before. But they also looked at their rotation, and it's hard to find playoff quality starts. Like, do you really trust Barrios to make a playoff start?
He's going to make one, but it scares me.
Yeah. Savage might have the upside to be someone that can miss a lot of bats. And so I think they really wanted to get him out there a little bit, maybe see how he reacts to once the major league teams have got a little bit more advanced scouting on him. So he doesn't have that 2nd and 3rd start in the playoffs. It actually happens in the big league. So we'll see about that. But yeah, we did pick him up in the main also. So one last Glory's last shot there to get you Savage. So that was someone we liked a little bit there. I like Kyle Harrison a lot this week.
He does get Detroit, who have been hitting lefties well lately, but it's
also threw 6 innings last time out.
He did, and apparently the Red Sox had him at a cutter in the minors to get. He was having trouble getting righties out, and apparently that's really worked with righties. His second half of his starts in AAA with the Red Sox were much better than the first half of the starts.
Yeah, they were. So yeah, that's someone that I wanted to kind of take a look at. I mean, I know the control's a concern and going deep into games, but if he gets me 5 innings and a win, we'll call it a day.
No doubt.
Call it a day anyhow. But
yeah, it seems to be over anyway. But yeah, as someone who owned Jason Alexander tonight, I'm calling everything a day at this point. That was brutal to watch. The guy that I kind of liked was Stephen Kolek at Kansas City. Just kind of riding the hot hand theory here. Last 4 starts, 1 earned run, 1 earned run, 2 earned run, 1 earned run. Last start against Seattle, who's playing really well right now. 7 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. The strikeout rate is not high, but I think he's someone that can get you through 6 innings, and hopefully the Royals decide to score some runs that day.
Yep. At the Angels, it's you don't know what you're going to get game. The Angels could score 8 or they could score 0. I mean, they're equally capable of that.
It's very true. It depends if Ward and Adele homer twice, which they do every once in a while, like a bunch of runs, and Trout runs into one. But Shanwell's back now, so maybe they're a little better. But I just like that as someone that I think he can throw 6 innings and give me a chance to win.
Yep.
There's not much else. If you need strikeouts, like JT Ginn's been pretty good for strikeouts, although that's scary. That's in Sacramento, and he's had some blow-ups lately. Joey Wentz is one that like either pitches really well or really badly. There's really no in between there, so you kind of hope you get a good one. Tyler Mahle is going to pitch this week, so that's one for Texas. Maybe he could be picked. He could be useful too.
Yeah, I those were all on my waterfall, as was AJ Bluebow.
It's a great name right there. I don't know how many innings he's going to throw, but dude strikes guys out.
Yeah, we picked him up in a league. Sure, why not? Let's get crazy, folks.
Yeah, no doubt. Another guy like that, Mike Burrows in Pittsburgh, been pitching really well, but they've been limiting his innings. He goes like 3 or 4 innings. But good ratios in Ks, you're not gonna get a win. But if you need good ratios in Ks, that's never a bad thing either.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's like you said, everybody's a stream this week on offense and defense. It's tough, but
did you pick up any Joey Wentz?
I thought about it. He's just so up and down. I did not get him. He was in my waterfall. I had him behind Kolek, and I wonder if I'm going to regret that one because the Braves are playing really well right now.
Yeah, and Wentz is like he's the boomer bust guy.
Yep. Last two starts, 2 earned runs. The start before that 6 and 4 before that. So it's either going to be 6 earned runs or going to get a pretty good start. And I'm not sure how to time that one, but I think he faces Washington this week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That was the one thing I liked. I did like it. And when I looked at him, I did like his matchup, but I was a little wary, but he was definitely on my list. Yeah, he gets Pittsburgh. I'm sorry.
My bad.
It's Sale, Waldrop, and Elder against Washington. Then he gets Pittsburgh along with Strider and maybe Sale at the end of the year. But Jeff, if you needed a couple of saves this week, was there anywhere you were delving into to try and steal a couple saves and win a league this week?
No, I wasn't, but I guess you could dabble with the Cubs.
Boy, was that the craziest whipsaw of all time?
Yes, it was.
Kittredge, everybody picks up Keller. Kittredge gets 3 saves. Everybody drops Keller, picks up Kittredge, and then Keller gets saved Monday and Tuesday. Like just to stick, it was crazy.
Yeah, I was listening to you and Paul. I finally caught that episode and how you guys were kind of debating that one back and forth. So of course,
I luckily threw Keller this week. I couldn't stomach him getting 2 saves and me not having him in there, so I threw it. I probably got lucky in that one, but I wasn't gonna get the other side of that. But I know some people. I talked to someone who added Kittredge and dropped Keller and just got neither of it too. It was been tough.
I mean, you could play everybody's favorite game, name an Arizona reliever, and try to get lucky with that.
I just like saying Andrew Salfrank, so I usually go there, but there's good luck there. Even worse is the A's. The A's are like impossible if you're like Hogan Harris, Michael Kelly. Like you just have no idea what you're getting there.
Yeah, I think Nabil Krismat's making another start.
All right.
We've got. I know there was a note saying he was moving to the bullpen, but then our projected starters grid suggested he still might make one more start. So I picked him up in one place. He's been good this year.
I can't get him off the Padres because his picture is like a gigantic Padres hat. In his
yes,
picture,
it is.
So I always have him there, but he's on. I know he's on Arizona, but every time I look at San Diego first. But in terms of saves, if I was going to do it, I think I go Riley O'Brien in St. Louis.
Sure.
He has 3 saves in like the last 2 weeks. He got 2 saves this week. I think that. There was that time where he was like looking like the guy, and then he got hurt. He was like his velocity was way down. He was out of the role. I think now he's kind of back, and he went like 10 days where he didn't pitch, and he's been back, been really good since then. He get that one batting against Milwaukee, but last 3 have been scoreless. I think if you need 2 saves, you might get 2 out of Riley O'Brien this week.
Yeah, you might.
What does Detroit do? Lastly, before we jump out of here, Will Vest was a disaster this week. I think he had 2 blowups this week. Kyle Finnegan is off the IL. Who gets the next save off in Detroit? Is it Finnegan?
Probably, but
Vest's last 2 outings, 9 hits and 1 2/3.
Yeah, just because it's fitting in line with the rest of the team's meltdown here.
It's like a Jason Alexander Sunday night right there.
Oh yeah. You keep going to that there for some reason. I don't know why.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean Tommy Canley. When's the last time he got a save?
Someone in the chat mentioned that Salfrank went to Indiana. My God, what the hell did Indiana do to Illinois in football?
Oh my gosh, you have my attention.
Illinois was number 9, and I looked up and it's like 56-10. Like, what the hell happened there?
You think Indiana coach wanted to kind of, put to rest some of the "you haven't beaten anybody" debate things that they faced last year?
It's too bad because SC plays Illinois this week, and that was going to look like a really big game, and all of a sudden, not such a big game anymore.
Watch SC find a way to blow that.
Oh, they could certainly do so. But like it was going to be 4-0 against 4-0, 2 top 15 teams because SC was going to move up and Illinois would have been like number 7 with a win. It's too bad. But man, they killed Illinois. That was a crazy game. It
was a crazy game. It was like, stop. They're already dead. But the way college football is, you have to keep scoring. It's just,
especially when you're trying to make a very, very clear statement.
Yeah, and after like all the debate, they didn't deserve to be in the playoff last year, all that crap. Yeah, they have to do that. I understand,
no doubt. So, Jeff, anybody else you want to talk about? This is our last baseball podcast. Anything you want to get off your chest? You've been waiting to say all year.
No, I just can't wait to watch more ball this week. I just love that we have this opportunity.
It's fun crazy. Last real week in real baseball, which I love. And we had that one year, I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago, where everything happened like on that Sunday afternoon, like the whole wild cards had that Longoria home run down the line in Tampa. Might have been 10 years ago, but that was a great Sunday. I hope we get a Saturday, Sunday where almost a bunch of teams are playing big games, because the last Sunday sucks when there's nobody playing. We get some good races on the stretch here. I really hope we get a good weekend next weekend.
That Longoria thing, that was like a Wednesday or Thursday night where everybody.
Yeah, because they mid-season they ended the season. That's right.
Yeah. So that was fun. There's some things that have gone very right and very wrong for the Reds. Seeing Hunter Green pitch the way he did against the Cubs on Thursday,
nasty.
So gratifying to see, because
did you go complete game in that? You go complete game in that game?
He did.
Yeah. Well, let's start before that against the A's. What do you expect?
Yeah. Well, it was against the swinging A's. So what are you going to do? But I don't know. It's just I'm just excited. Lost in the Mets season is how good Juan Soto was. Especially down the stretch, he was so good.
Truly an unbelievable season. The stolen base in there to just make that season unbelievable fantasy wise.
Yeah, bonkers.
So what did the Reds have to win 4 games this week to get the wild card?
I don't want to make that prediction, but I mean,
I'll make it. I think 4-2 gets it. 4-2 at least. 4-2 at least gets a playoff on Monday. Is there a playoff on Monday?
No, they do tiebreakers now.
Oh, they go all tiebreakers. Oh boy,
because they got to get going.
Do you have an idea what the Reds tiebreaker?
Reds have the tiebreaker on the Mets. They beat them 4 out of 6 this year.
All right.
I'm not sure about Arizona though.
Okay.
That is the trick.
I'm going 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee. Gets us in. Yeah.
The Pirates. Let's just hope that they hold true to their not being as good on the road thing. Good thing that we're playing them in Great American and not in Pittsburgh.
The Mets have to go to Wrigley to start the week, and they close at Miami, who's hot right now. So not an easy setup for the Mets. And the Mets could go 0-6 or 6-0, and I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest with you. I have no clue what the hell to expect out of a team. It's just anything could happen with that team. It's just they're that all over the place.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm looking forward to these American League races there as well. The Detroit Cleveland, that's just nuts.
What a great series that's going to be. I'm so glad they're playing each other this week.
Yeah, exactly.
That's in Cleveland. Now you got Gavin Williams and Bybee go. You got Gavin Williams against Skubal on Tuesday. You got Bybee and Flaherty on. Both teams have their 1 and 2s lined up. That's gonna be really fun.
Very exciting. Yeah, very exciting.
Well, more than anything, I want to thank everybody for listening to us all season long. We really appreciate that. The chat was on fire tonight. There were 9 million comments in there. Sorry we can't get to all of them, but we really appreciate all of that. Obviously, all the nice words we get, Jeff and I, and when we're at football drafts or baseball drafts, obviously hear really good things about the podcast. We really always appreciate that. Anybody that says anything good really means a lot to us. We obviously put a lot of work into this, but obviously it's a lot of fun as well. So we appreciate that. Other than that, thanks to Chalkboard for the sponsorship of the podcast. We really appreciate that as well. Other than that, there will be Jeff. There will be podcasts this week, correct? The rest of the week, but just not ending on Friday or so.
Yeah, and even in the offseason, James Anderson's going to continue. Eric Halterman's going to continue. So we'll still have more podcasts. Yeah. I will be hosting with Fred Zinke at 1:00 Pacific time on Tuesday for our final one.
Nice.
So please lock it in for that. That will not be on YouTube, but we will have it on Twitter and on Facebook. So please if you want to stream with us, please, we welcome you to join us that way. Otherwise, listen on your podcast.
Beautiful. Thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. As always, I'll be back at you before you know it, talking 2026 draft. So if you're good luck to all your teams down the stretch. If you're in contention for your league, hopefully it all really goes well and the breaks go your well. Other than that, everybody has a really good week and take care.